What's up, guys? It's Keefe. Today I've got 6 ways that you can build unstoppable confidence. Now, before we get into that, if you're a guy who's out there who's looking to improve his life in any way, hit that bell icon and subscribe button so you don't miss my new videos. I put out new videos every single day to help guys like you create your ideal lives. So let's get into the video. First one, guys, is to get your body moving. Get the posture of confidence. Speak with confidence. Talk louder, because that's what confident people do. If you notice your body language is not resonating confidence, then why would you expect to feel confident? One way you can do this is to just literally move your body around a lot, like jump around in your room, yell something, like yell yes or something like that. Just like feel completely not inhibited at all, and just let all that energy out, and suddenly you'll feel a lot more confident in your body. Ask yourself, like, how do I stand as a confident person, and do that? How do I move my hands? How do I speak? All these different things. That is one of the best ways you can snap into a confident state from an unconfident state, and it can happen instantly if you just get up. Like if you're feeling unconfident, you're about to do something, just move around and kind of get your body out of that energy pattern of feeling unconfident. Second one, guys, is to focus on good things you've done, accomplishments you've made, and kind of forget about all the bad things you've done. This is actually the proper way to go about it. A lot of people are the opposite. If you ask somebody who's really accomplished, they might not even realize they've accomplished things. If you ask them, like, hey, what did you accomplish? What are your accomplishments? They might draw a blank. But if you ask them what their failures are, they might start spitting them off like crazy, right? And it's because as humans, we just tend to focus on our mistakes. But this is a bad way to go about it. You want to be kind of like, they say a quarterback should have a short memory. And the reason is, like, if he throws an interception and suddenly he loses all confidence, then his game's going to go down. But if he throws an interception and then he's right back out there the next play slinging the ball without any concern that he's going to turn it over, then he just plays with that confidence. And you want to have that mentality with your life. So what you to do is I want you to write down a list of good things. If it takes you a while, sit there with it, all right? But just write down accomplishments you've had, or victories you've had, moments you stepped out of your comfort zone, you did something bold. And then whichever one of those really resonates to you, kind of like train it into your memory. Remember the feeling state that came with that. And when you're feeling unconfident, think about that moment. It'll change your entire state. You'll feel that confident state, and then you can take that energy into the new situation that you're feeling unconfident about. Third one, guys, is to do something new every single day. Again, expanding your comfort zone. When you expand your comfort zone, you expand who you are, and you just realize there's more of you out there, and it just gives you that sense of, like, I can handle the unknown. I can handle things I'm not expecting. It goes along with what I talked about a week and a half ago about facing dragons, right? How when you face a dragon, the symbol of the dragon is basically that fear of the unknown. So basically what you're doing here is you're consistently facing a dragon every single day, and when you defeat the dragon, you feel more confident. You get the reward behind it, which in this case is the confidence that you get. Fourth one, guys, is to notice when you're feeling unconfident and ask, why is this illogical? A lot of times fear will cause us to feel unconfident, but the fear will be illogical, and it'll be something we've bought into over time, some kind of program. Maybe you're afraid to talk to new people, but you're not really afraid of talking to a new person because logically you think about it and you're like, well, what's the worst that can happen? Were they going to pull a gun out and shoot me for saying hi? Like, no. So like what you're actually scared of makes no sense. It's illogical. So when you see yourself feeling unconfident about something, ask yourself, is it logical for me to feel unconfident about this? And most of the time it's not. And even if it is, like, I should be unconfident maybe because I've never done it, it's a lot different feeling of unconfidence rather than that feeling of unconfidence like fear or terror at the idea of doing something unknown. It's more of just like, okay, well, I'm not expecting to do amazing and I'll get better with time. So the confident state changes. So a lot of times we use fear to put us in an unconfident state, and we don't want to do that. So challenge that fear, challenge the illogical nature of it, and you'll start to detach from the fear, detach from the unconfident state, and you can think more clearly about what's going on. Fifth one, guys, is to break through your inhibitions. A lot of times we get very self-conscious, and this causes us to become unconfident, and this puts us in a downward cycle, because what happens is the self-consciousness causes us to close up more, which makes us more unconfident, which makes us more irrational, makes us more fear-driven, and we're more and more and more worried about everybody watching us, what is going on, like everybody's looking at me, all these different things. And it just makes us close up completely like a clam, right? And so what you really want to do here is focus on breaking these inhibitions. A good example from my life is I've consistently for a long time been somebody somebody who wasn't amazing in social situations at all. And it is a real effort for me to break that inhibition. I feel very closed off. I feel like people are looking at me. So I'm making a conscious effort to not be inhibited. I have to disinhibit this area of my life. So I have to go out of my way to speak to people. I have to go out of my way to not care what I'm saying to them. I have to go out of my way to be loud when I say it to them, right? And so when I do this, I just train that out of me because it's a habit for me to feel uncomfortable in that situation, because ultimately a lot of people aren't uncomfortable speaking to new people and they feel confident about it, but it comes with the habit. The things you have a habit of doing, you feel more confident about. So you need to consciously disinhibit these areas where you feel inhibited, and that causes your self-consciousness. Another great way to do this, guys, is to visualize a different scenario. So for example, let's say you're about to go approach some girl, like you want to ask her for a number, and you get really self-conscious and scared and inhibited. You're all up in your head. You don't know what to say to her. Before you do it, just visualize yourself like talking to somebody you feel really confident with, like where you don't hold anything back. Visualize that, get that state into you, then go up to her, and you can have that energy rather than walking up to her like, oh gee, I wonder what she's gonna say, all this stuff. Like, you can kind of train that out of you by thinking about how you would be feeling if you were talking to, say, your best friend or your mother, or if you were just talking to yourself in the shower or something like that. It will change the way you come off in that dynamic. You'll be less self-conscious, more disinhibited, so that you can just say freely whatever's on your mind. And this always works out better, because the people who are really like top down trying to have a conversation, they have these exhausting conversations, whereas the people who are just free and let it loose, they always feel energized by conversations. Sixth and final one, guys, is to reward yourself for getting out of your comfort zone, okay? So when we do something that requires confidence, we need to acknowledge it. This goes along with remembering the good things we've done. So if you do something bold, reward yourself for it. Like, let's say you're like a salesperson, you really don't like calling people. Well, once you get your first big check, intentionally spend part of it on something that you can't claim is like useful or necessary, some need kind of thing. Spend it on something sort of frivolous that you've always wanted, part of it at least, and you'll reward yourself, and you'll just feel better about having done the thing, and you'll train this positive feedback loop into yourself to be like, okay, when I step out of my comfort zone, good things happen. Not only like do the good things happen because I expand, but I get something out of it, right? Like in the material form, right? So when you do this, you'll just keep training that mindset into yourself. We want to train positive feedback loops. We're literally like dogs, right? Like if a dog sits, you give it a treat, right? Because you want to train the right behaviors into it. So we're literally like dogs too, guys. We got to train the right habits into ourselves. So reward yourself like you would reward your dog when it does something that you want it to do, or when you do something that you want yourself to do. Guys, that's all I got for this video. If you got something out of it, give me a like so I can reach more guys through the algorithm. Hit the bell icon and subscribe button so you don't miss tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.